What is up, YouTube? It is I, the Omega Demigod, and welcome to Master Duel. This is a rant video because I just looked over the new announcement that they had, and you know, I'm a free-to-play guy. I've been playing in this game ever since its release. I was hyped for it in the very beginning, and now the value is kind of gone. The content, I ran through it. I made as many decks as I could. I have even more than this. I have even more than this, like, on my phone, because on my phone I can't do. On my phone I was more you know, I made better decisions when it came to my gems and things. But like on this, all I could do, like, I built a Tri-Brigade deck. I dropped it for this. I made an Emancipator deck. A 60 card and Emancipator deck. And, you know, well, like, I got the assault mode. I got the assault mode engine in the Halka Brass combo, Block Dragon and Grass, all that shit. And Miracle Rupture and freaking and hand traps and all that shit. But like, I saw the new ban list, right? Now, this is why this is a rant video, because I'm probably not about to play this game. Like, I'm debating still playing this game at this point. Because look at this, hold on. Right here. This is expected to come out on May 9th. And look. No bans whatsoever. How you gonna call this a ban list and nothing got banned? How you gonna call this a ban list and nothing got? Hold on, let me get my water. How you gonna call this a ban list and there's nothing banned? But did you see everything that everybody was doing in this format? Everything in this format, bro. FTKs exist. He's like, I played games before where a guy would have 2 ignites and use their effects to search a fire warrior like they normally do. Fire warrior they would choose would be Sublimation Knight. Normal summon Sublimation Knight. He equip Squeak Knight or something like that, and then it can special summon itself from the equipped zone, from the back row while it's equipped or something, and then you can use those two and go into Isolde hold and like do all this other bullshit. Like, at the end of the day, they ended on Cyberstein and equipped with what's that freaking spell? Equip spell. Something that equips to a psychic, but he had freaking but you usually use Reaper-Delcus to turn Cyberstein into a psychic. So you could hit that equip spell to it, and it allows you to use Cyberstein's effect without paying any life points. Because you know how psychics, they like to pay life points to activate their effects of their monsters. So that equip spell was designed to make it to where you can use psychic monsters' effects without paying life points. But Cyberstein is a machine, so they literally created a combo that can get Cyberstein out on the field and then turn it into a psychic, so you can use his equip spell and not have to pay 5,000 life points. Needs to use the effect to just cheat out a fusion monster directly from the extra deck. And with the fusion monsters that exist today, there's so many that, like Naturia Barkion or freaking Blaze Phoenix, that are just broken as hell, and all that you need to do is use Cyberstein to summon them, because they do not specifically say, like what most fusion monsters do nowadays, is it must be fusion summoned. A lot of fusion monsters say it must be fusion summoned, but for the ones that don't say that, Cyberstein could cheat them out. And you're able to use this to do an annoying FTK involving Supreme King Dragon, Starving Venom, a Lureless Independent Nightingale. Probably like two Supreme King Dragon Starving Venoms and a freaking Independent Nightingale. You're able to FTK with those. I don't see why this is still allowed. Oh, but okay. What else? Freaking Virtual World with their VFD. Hey, look into semi limits. Lao Lao is at 2. That's all they decided to do to Virtual World. Virtual World can play with only 2 Lao Lao, bruh. And locking them out of a third Lao Lao does nothing. What it is? Because freaking Virtual World played. He's Pot of Desires all the time. I'm like in most builds they play Pot of Desires. If you think they're going to banish both copies of their Lao Lao. Oh, like what? Come on, bruh. And like VFD still lives. So like if they even get the chance to make VFD in most cases, if you don't have your Imperial, that's an Imperial Litter, that needs to get banned too. If you don't have your Infinite Imperm, you don't have your Droplet, your Dark Rule no more doesn't even work. You need a quick effect negate in order to deal with VFD. He going second. So like literally the only, like if you don't have any of those and you just lose, it's because he's going to lock you out of your monsters. You're just like, you can't use monster effects on the field. And whatever attribute it declared, like you can't activate the effects of monsters in your hand or your graveyard with that attribute either. So for the most part, you're just locked out of monster effects entirely. You can't attack either. So unless you have some generic removal stuff, there's no way for you to get around VFD. And you can't even do damage to your opponent because they don't allow you to attack. So even if you do get rid of VFD, still unable to attack. So you can't even hit your opponent and like life points down. You get them an extra turn for free. And with Virtual World, with the recovery that they have, and they're gonna come back with something else after making VFD and just freaking body you in the end. It's just freaking annoying. And then Zeus, I mean, Zeus is alright. It's at 1. It's alright. But look at the limits. Cyber Angel Benson and Conquistador, the Golden Land. So, Conk Limited. See, with Eldritch, Conk is definitely my most hated card in the entire Eldritch archetype, and I was happy to see it get hit. But realistically, no. Eldritch, it was not annoying because of Conk. It was annoying because of all the floodgates that it played. And in fact, if it wasn't for those floodgates, they would not be as dangerous as they currently are. Like, they still have skill drain at 3. They still have Imperial Order. They still have Vanity's Emptiness. They still have a freaking IDP. He freaking summon limit. You know, all these other like traps that they can run and to just power them up and give them like everything they need to keep the opponent at bay, while also like spamming Eldritch onto the field as a 3500 it beat stick. Like, there's just too much going on with the deck as far as traps. Like, usually when you see an Eldritch player, they're going to go first and probably set 4 or set 5 pass. You're probably gonna have Solemn Judgments back there, and they're just going to flip everything over and lock you out of your stuff. Conk isn't going to do anything. And they got too much recovery when it comes to their trap arsenal. And when one trap goes to the graveyard, or even one of their spells, one of their elixirs, they're able to banish it from the graveyard and get hit another or trap on the field. They have their counter trap too. They have a counter trap that you can use like only by tributing a zombie. They still have access to Guardian, the Golden Land, even though nobody plays it. Like, they have too much going for them, and one freaking limit to conk isn't gonna do nothing. I'm sorry to say it, it's not gonna do enough. And freaking Benton, Drytrons did get hurt by this, but they didn't get hurt enough. Not in my opinion. They didn't get hurt enough because Drytron, they focused their strategy on summoning Herald of Ultimateness and having like 4 or 5 high fairies in their hand and to negate everything that your opponent does. And the only way that you can out it is if you kaiju it, or if you have the droplet, Dark Ruin, or Morlip, and all that shit. Yeah, like that's the only way that you can get around it. And limiting Benton, I mean, in the TCG, Benton is limited as well, but Eva is also banned. This Banlist didn't do anything to Eva. Not realize how much of a problem Eva is. I mean, it's only once per turn, but like, when she goes to the graveyard, you can literally banish 2 fairies and get 2 more fairies in your hand. The two main choices would be Herald of Orange Light and Diviner. Diviner is also a broken card because you have the ability to summon it to the field. You're able to send a fairy to the graveyard and increase its level. So the 2 main targets for that one would be the Elder Entity Natis or freaking Herald of the Arclight. And Herald of the Arclight allows you to search another ritual or monster or ritual spell, and freaking and the Tis would be able to pop up a card in your opponent's field. Yo, that's pretty strong. And what's worse is like you were able to banish those cards from the graveyard with another Eva and get more cards in your hand. Beatrice is like Diviner becomes level 6, so all you gotta do is summon a Benton from your graveyard using the Drytron ritual spell Medionis, and you can make Beatrice the Seas Master for Burning Abyss, and Beatrice is at 3 for some reason. I mean, I suppose it would be a fair card at 3. You think if used specifically for any deck that can make a rank 6, because there's not that many of those, and in Burning Abyss, who actually does use it. But in Drytron, it's unfair because sending a Drytron to the graveyard gets them more access to their like tributes used for Benton, and like puts more stuff on the field, searches more cards, gets more advantage and all that shit. Yeah, that's freaking ridiculous, and they already have the rank 1 and Fafnir to do that. Hey, why do they need more? And then also like, hey, if Beatrice doesn't want to send another freaking Drytron, they can just send freaking Eva, so you can banish 2 fairies and search 2 more. Like, if Eva was banned, the deck would be way less consistent and more focused on the actual archetype itself, which I think is actually pretty fun to go up against and pretty fun to use. Actually, it's just the fact that they like using the fairy engine too much, and the fairy engine is what's broken and unfun because you're just negating everything that your opponent does, and then like next turn you're able to OTK. And there's nothing the opponent can do if they don't have their outs. Like, it's annoying. So I think the Min Benton isn't going to do enough for the deck. DD Dynamite, semi-limited, okay. All the bots running around using this FTK, hey, they no longer have access to Trap Trick. They're probably gonna run more draw cards. There's too many draw cards. Like freaking Chicken Game, Upstart Goblin at 3. He freaking and Into the Void at 3, Card of the Demise at 3. There's too many draw cards available to you that allows you to get everything that you need, like over or a certain after a certain amount of card effect activations that allow you to freaking draw cards over and over again, and like you're eventually going to get what you need. Like there was a reason that Chicken Game is banned in the TCG. There's a reason that Upstart Goblin. There's a reason that Upstart Goblin is at 1 in the TCG. He like to prevent draw strategies that get you access to all this stuff. Like even Perform Pop Hopper Up. Like people use Perform Pop Hopper Up because they know that even though they're probably going to take like 3k, 4k damage, he's like, it's not going to matter if you're trying to get to what you need. He's like, they even use Gold Moon Coin. And that's at 3 too. You just give your opponent 2 cards and then draw 2 cards. And like if they have cards that aren't DD Dynamite or freaking Bank of the Millions, then they will just give them to the opponent and be like okay, let's draw 2 more, see what's up. I think they even use Cup of Ace. Like there's a lot of draw cards out there that's generic and the conditions are not that crazy. Allow you access to this FTK. While it may be less consistent now that DD Dynamite is at 2, when they no longer have the ability to trap trick it, they still have like other things that they can do. They even have a Lilith Lady Lament still. At least they have access to their Banquet of Millions still. Banquet of Millions should have got banned. And what do you mean you can banish everything from the extra deck? How is that fair? Like, the opponent can't do anything with their extra deck for the turn. Like that's like some artifact scythe level type shit. And people are already complaining about artifact scythe in the TCG. I don't play the TCG as much as I used to. I do know about the DPE scythe bullshit. I think it is annoying. They probably should have been banned scythe, but yeah, I guess they just like making it to where the opponent cannot use their extra deck at all. Well, even though it's a very common mechanic in the game. Speaking of common mechanics, Antonites of Torrent Scales. Why is that at 2? Why did they choose to put Torrent Scales at 2? Because last time I checked, Phantom Knights didn't really do much besides summon a goddamn Rongo. If anything, they should be banning number 86 Anti-Royal Champion Rongo Minion. They should be banning that shit, not freaking semi-limiting the Phantom Knight's best card. You're like, are you kidding me? Do something about the goddamn Xyz monster that makes it to where the opponent cannot freaking play. Like, as soon as the monster comes out, it's making people surrender. Like, are you kidding me? Do something about that. Ban Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, something, please. Make it to where this strategy cannot be used. Because it's literally ending in when the opponent cannot play the game. And the deck is pretty good with playing around hand traps too. So you go first with it. There's really not that much you can do. It makes it to where you can't summon. It makes it to where it's unaffected by card effects, can't be destroyed by battle, just can't be taken off the field at all. And it's literally locking you out of doing anything. Like, come on, bro. One card shouldn't be able to do all that, and it's not that hard to pull off nowadays. He made it a long time ago, back when Zexal was first a thing, because his heroics were Nistros deck in Zexal, and but they probably made Rongo thinking that it wasn't going to be that easy to summon because heroics was actually not that good of a deck at the time. I know they got the support now, which is actually pretty okay, but Rango now is just too easy to bring out with the Phantom Knights, because Phantom Knights are really skilled at making ranking 4s. I mean, look at Dark Rebellion. That's their boss monster. Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon. I mean, nobody plays Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon, but now they have access to Raiders Knight, into Arc Rebellion Exceeds Dragon. They have Dark Requiem. They have all that shit. And their rank 4s are solid now. Oh yeah, add Rango to the list. Listen, freaking, they have their generic level 3s too, because PK Fire is actually the most common level 3 spam deck in the game. And with their jump forwards, their psychic wielders, their freaking and you know, all these freaking generic level 3s, either Danger Jackalopes, Danger Tsuchinokos, goes on all that. Like, they have too many level 3s that they can just bring out to the field. Cherubini has generic material. With the Burning Abyss Link, you can play the Burning Abyss Searing Graph. You have to easily like bring out Rusty Bardiche. Rusty Bardiche uses OP. Like, I don't get why. I mean, I feel like Phantom Knights would be able to use something like that in this format, but like, it was banned at one point, and I feel like there's a reason why. Like, I don't know, man. Just do something, please do something about the Rango strategy. I hate it so much. I would rather just see like PK Raid Raptor or PK Blackwing or something like that. I don't know. Or PK something that isn't this stupid ass Rango strategy. Because it pisses me off, like, being unable to do anything about the dumbass Exceeds monster. And like, yeah, skill drain should have, like, I'm mad about skill drain because why is it still at 3? TCG made a stupid decision putting skill drain at 3. I was happy when they banned Imperial Order here, but skill drain is at 3. Like, I don't understand, man. All you gotta do is pay 1,000 life points. You lock your opponent out of your entire freaking arsenal of monster effects, unless it's in the hand or in the graveyard. Activating on the field is no bueno. Like, come on, bro. Outlets will freaking abuse that shit, and freaking Imperial Order isn't banned, and Vanity's Emptiness should have been banned. Why? Because you think, oh, it's gonna be so easy to make the opponent send a card from under field to the graveyard. Or blocking everybody out of special summoning is perfectly fine. You can just keep it at 1. And like, come on, bro. No, stop. Yeah. And then Dragon Buster Destruction Sword is still alive. So I don't know why. I mean, they banned it at one point in the TCG, but then they decided to put it back after banning Union Carrier. So that means Buster Blader is able to still lock people out of their extra deck. Alright. Alright, that must be alright. Like, okay. And then, Union Carrier, I mean, Drytrons use Union Carrier as well. Like, you're not gonna do anything about that? At the, Infinite Negate with, some Morg and Union, like, at least ban some Morg, please. Chopper Gates. Look at Chopper Gates. Fractal to 2. Fractal to 2. Lyrilless Cobalt Sparrow to 2. All these semi-limits, they're not gonna do anything to actually hurt Chopper Gates. If anything, like, the Lyrilless deck, like, as a whole, is hurt a little bit by this development, and like, people are just going to gravitate towards Chopper Gate and Zodiac, because guess what? Dryden still lives. Like, Chopper Gate Zodiac is probably the best deck in the game at the moment, and people are still able to play that at pretty much full power. Like, instead of relying on drawing in Fractal, like, Tenki's still at 3. Now you can just draw into Tenki and freaking search Fractal. Like, it doesn't change anything. I'm like, what? Konami isn't doing anything for real to actually like hurt these top tier decks. I feel like FTK is gonna be a bit more dead because the consistency hit. Like, you're not able to use Trap Trick on DD Dynamite anymore. It should have still banned Banquet, but yeah, okay. I feel like we're gonna be playing with the same meta until the next ban list comes out. It says it's gonna be active until June 9th. I'm really hoping that on June 9th we get a real ban list, because this isn't a real ban list for me. I feel like a lot of people can agree with me that this ban list sucks and it's probably one of the worst that we've seen. But at the same time, Konami just isn't good at making ban lists at all. So I can't judge, because I'm not like hip with the game enough to know what the strategies are OP in this time. But like, me playing Master Duel for so long now, like in this format that we're in, and like I've seen a whole bunch of decks like do unfair things. And then even though I've had certain outs to it, yeah, I've still been incapable of getting around it, and there must be a reason why. Like, the ban list just needs to address some of these things, because every time I see, because I got friends, right? I got friends that I play with a lot, and I play decks against them that they just look at me and they're just like, hey, what the frick are you doing? Why are you able to do all this? I'm like, Konami allows all this. So like, they must want people to do all this annoying shit. Like, these floodgates, like Guru Control and all those controlled, that True Draco and all that, and like, they are allowed to use all these locky cards and make it get to where the opponent cannot play the game. They're allowed to do this. They're allowed to make the game unfun for everybody. So if you want this game to actually be good, like, hey, look at Konami and just be like, bruh, your game ain't fun. Just do something about it. Make it to where, like, don't stop allowing all this bullshit. And then what else? Friggin' Suckers Light to 2. That was an Emancipator card. I mean, other decks that don't use back row, like Super Heavy Samurai and freaking Flower Guardians, at least for me, my Flower Guardian deck does not use Fellows Traps. They like using Suckers Light. Hey, like, that deck doesn't get, like, nothing really hurts with this. Suckers Light to 2, I mean, you can still play Suckers Light. There's nothing different about that. You just basically get your pot of greed at 2 instead of 3. Like, that's not gonna hurt anybody. And then in Fusion Destiny the 2, I heard that was preemptive. It's like they wanna just hit the heroes a little bit, just in case, because they have DPE on the way. Friggin', man. And friggin', what else? Are you running through everything else? Prank Kids Rock Season, Emancipator Analyzer. Those are there are a couple of Emancipator hits. Analyzer is best starter. Emancipator Analyzer got hit to 2. Whoop-de-doo! I'm just gonna start playing Emancipator Friends to search Analyzer now. Nah, nobody's gonna do that. But Emancipator's his biggest threat though is Block Dragon, and they didn't do anything to Block Dragon. And like, I will be the first to tell you, because I'm an Emancipator player, Block Dragon is the problem. The fact that it's still at 3 just makes it to where, like, I feel like maybe Konami doesn't actually play their game enough to know that Block Dragon is a problem. I mean, they banned Block Dragon in the TCG. I don't know if it's banned in the OCG. I don't keep up the ban list, but like, Wild Dragon is banned in the TCG, and it's still banned. Why wouldn't they ban it here instead of doing all these love taps? I don't know. And my Emancipator deck doesn't even use the Prank Kids engine, so Roxy's doesn't even hurt me. I am still playing like pure Prank Kids, just 'cause I think it's fun for me. I feel like Roxy's would hurt me a little bit, but it's not that bad because all you need is one Prank Kid in order to actually like do everything that you need to do. All you need to do is draw it, and if they have the Ash, like call it by it, and boom, you're going off. And speaking of call by, I really wish they would come on the 3. Like, these hand traps are pissing me off. Like, I feel like some of these hand traps, like when you get hit by them, you just can't do nothing. And call by is the only way most of the time to deal with them. At least in my Emancipator deck, I have Guardian to negate hand traps, but everything else is like Ash, freaking Maxi, Effect Veiler, all that. Like, people hate that. I know I hate those. It was Call by, I would like to see at 3. Harpy's Feather Duster, I'd also like to see at 3, just because his control deck get on my nerves. Your Lightning Storm, I mean, you can run Lightning Storm at 3, but like, if you're not running other or back row move cards like MST, Twin Twisters and all that, then you're most likely not going to draw it when you need to. Because you're fighting a whole bunch of decks that don't use back row move with them, you come across that one that does. You don't have what you need, and then you just die. Because there's not enough back row removal, and if you were to run like more her back row removal, then you would most likely work on it. But the issue with it is that, like, I want to activate just one card and clear the control player's entire board in one activation. That's what Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster are able to accomplish for me, but because I can't draw them as often, and like I can't do it, it's a lot more effort to clear their back row and be able to make my moves. I would like to see Harpy's Feather Duster at 3 though. They put Regeki to 3 in the TCG. I'm just like, oh yeah, we need Harpy's Feather Duster now. Because these back row decks be getting on my nerves sometimes, bro. And in the TCG where we still have Mystic Mine and Alive, like, we might need some more back row removal. But not to where we end up working on it, you know? Like, I'd be okay with running back row removal as long as I can clear the opponent's board in a singular activation, and because I don't want to break on it. Because if I do end up bricking on it, at least I could clear the opponent's board in a single activation and make it to where they had to recover just as quickly as I had to unbrick myself. I think that's fair, right? That's just me. What else was the problem? I mean, there's a lot more problems in this game, obviously, but like, I'm not going to address all of them because this video is already pretty long. But this deck, like this ban list, the only other thing that's worth addressing is Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon at 3. I forgot that it was even at 1 or 2 or whatever the freak it was. Yeah, let me check it. Let me check it. I'm probably not going to play this game anymore though, because this game, like, unless it's one of my friends challenges me, like, I'm probably not going to play this game as often as I used to, because there's just too much going on, and it gives me a headache sometimes. I'm not going to stress myself too much over it. I'd rather play something that's actually fun and more for them. So let's look for Red Eyes Red Eyes. Darkness, Metal Dragon. What are the cards I don't own? Yeah, so this was actually at 2, but okay. Putting it to 3, I mean, it makes sense because while the I mean, no, it even says like you can only special summon it once per turn. You can only use the effect once per turn. And like, it'll be an extender for Dragon Link. Dragon Link actually isn't as OP here as it was in a TCG long ago. I mean, they can have it. Like, go off, Queen. Go off. You know, like everything that this thing has is once per turn. So having it at 3, I mean, it's not going to hurt anybody. Yeah, I'm more surprised that Destrodo's alive. But regardless of that, like, I don't have anything else to say. This Banlist is disappointing as hell. There's so many things that they could have done to make the format a better place for everybody. Yeah, but instead they choose to, you know, give everything a love tap and like not, and just leave us with the same freaking meta of the decks that we've been facing this entire time ever since the game started. And it's freaking Drytron, Eldritch, Prank Kids and Emancipator, or freaking Tri-Brigade Zoo, Virtual World. Like, you've been hearing these decks for so long, but you're gonna have to hear them again because the Banlist didn't do anything to them. That's my rant though. Probably not gonna keep playing this game. I will see y'all later. Deuces, have a nice format.